Happy Friday, the 25th of August, 2023. So we're coming down to that, moving into September real quick. And so far, August has not been a letdown. Of all the hills, the peaks, the valleys, the rocks, the stones, the mountains, and beyond, we have gone up, down, up, down, up, down. So as the energy changes and the world continues to turn, my friends, we can talk about current energies and what to expect. But sometimes Spirit just says, Sandy, it's better to give people something to relate to within a human experience. And of course, the only thing that I can relate it to is things that I'm personally experiencing or I'm experiencing through directly being in contact within someone else, and I'm observing that experience from my viewpoints. So I've talked before about the energetics of being like everything is copacetic, and the next thing it's like, who stuck their wet hand in the socket? Because 5 minutes ago I was having a great air day and my nervous system was in tune. Now I'm freaking haywire, and so is what's standing up on my scalp. So this is kind of the things that we're experiencing, not only within our own energetics, but within the energetics that we're interacting with in relationship to work, friends, family, basic general public and environment. So I did a video about manifesting exactly what I wanted going for a particular position for a new account. Now I walked out receiving exactly what it was I asked for, like verbatim. Only to find out the next day that that person had energetically retrieved my information and was going along with all of that information with a big smile on their face, all the while holding a grudge against the person that had referred me, and then the judgment of how I might have looked in my scrubs, my lashes, my assertiveness, the way I carry myself, those kinds of things, a lot of personal judgment. And so it turns out she took great pleasure in letting me know another candidate was chosen. Now, in that moment, my human stomach kind of sank when I got the email, because what happened face to face was like a well-rehearsed play. It was so perfect. So my human wanted to say, what the hell just happened here? But my spiritual side said, Sandy, she had another agenda. She went through the motions with you, and she took great pleasure in spinning it, because that's the egoic webbing that she lives in. But what she doesn't understand is that it's not where I live. So I understood it. So by the end of the day, I had gotten together with the other medical practitioner from another location who had referred me to this location, and it really triggered her. Number one, her human was insulted that her stature didn't hold more clout. Then it went down to her ethnic background. Then it came down to her as a woman. And it triggered a cascade of discrimination, of hurt, of all kinds of things, which was semi-triggered within myself, because sometimes when people meet me, they either absolutely want to embrace and hug, or there's a lot of criticism there, and always apologies later when they get to know me, because I always rise above it and I don't feed into it. So I'm accustomed to it. But it did trigger. Older white female. This person I was interviewing was of another nationality, and she wanted someone of her nationality that she pretended was a better candidate, who had absolutely 1/4 of my experiences. It's all fine. I wasn't meant to be there. I wasn't meant to be there. But while I'm in conversation with this other practitioner, she's really in tears, because it stirred 30 years of being in the workforce, and how she herself had to struggle up the ladder and was either discriminated against on personal or business levels because of the color of her skin, not based on who she was or who she is. And then in a lot of the medical field, it was a man's world, and you had to fight your way through that too. So the common denominator between she and I were very similar and yet different, but the same chords of discord were triggered. So a whole cascade of stuff flared up in her, and semi had a simmer within me. So I had to take a step back. I had to stop, drop, sit, and connect with my breath. I had to ask my inner cellular guide team to spin some golden information and some healthy endorphins, so I didn't plummet to lower realms of frequency where she was headed. And nor could I take the responsibility to hold her on a thread, not let her sink any further, because that was her lesson to learn. So, understand that we are all going through it, no matter how much energetic work we're doing, how much work we have done to get to this moment, in this space, in this place. I am not exempt or immune to any of it. And I feel like I do a ton of work. I have to look within the lesson, and the multidimensional chords of frequency that are within each lesson. It's like a symphony of bad notes mixed in with some really good freaking notes. And it can leave you tired and leave you feeling with those ascension symptom type things, where you feel dizzy and nauseous and exhausted, and you feel like you're banging your head against the wall. And I believe I said yesterday, sometimes it feels like it takes some of your brain cells and puts them through a wood chipper. So we're going to be going through a little bit more of this until we begin to break free, as we individually step back from all the collective stuff that's going on, and we work on our individual accordion of energetics. We learn how to hone in and to skill that within the me, myself, and I of the universe before we contribute anything more to what is going on in our demographics and beyond. Because it's a main theme right now. You got people wanting to hold on to old patterns. You've got people that don't know crap posting out crap, and you got other people catching it and wearing it as if that crap was for reals. Stay out of the currency, my friend. Stay out of the current of currency. You're going to be okay no matter what it is you have in the bank, whether it's coin or paper. You don't need the air money. You don't need the hard stuff. You're going to be okay with whatever you have. Food will always be available to you. You will always have it. You don't need to go into feast or famine, gimme, gimme, collect, hoard modes. If you're doing a really good job every day to connect with your breath, to feel the ground beneath your feet, to feel your actual feet and your legs, and maybe you need to do a couple extra squats to feel the physical human that is standing, that houses the beautiful you of all of it, that never leaves the universe, that is housed in this vehicle. And you are taking care of that vehicle. And you're hitting override, cancel, alt, delete as often as you need to. And when you do, you have the courage to accept your cancel, alt, delete, and you're not playing the mind game within yourself. That you're not allowing everybody else's opinion, judgments, and perceptions to sway you. You have command and control over your remote control of all of this. Nothing can happen to it, for it, through it, with it, without your participation of it. So until you learn to fine-tune this and work with the opportunity to play with the lessons right now, and it's really teaching everyone how to gracefully pivot and become adaptable, so that maybe you're in a situation where you're not sure what's going on, but you can change the colors of your energy so that you can become the observer until you can filter that information to a place of better understanding, place of inner wisdom, before you churn that energy and put it back out. So here's where we learn to be the creator souls that we are. Now, back to the situation of myself and this other practitioner. She really sunk most of the night. She had to cry a lot out. And it was still consuming her the next day, because then she needed to text and vocalize it to others she felt needed corresponding with. And then she'd ask me if I was okay. And I said, I'm absolutely okay. You need to understand I'm not meant to be there. I'm not supposed to have that account. I'm okay with it. Whatever it's triggered within you, you work on the high, mediums, and lows of that. Process that. But don't feel like you've got to go on a good fight for me. I'm quite capable of doing that for myself if I need to. I'm just going to roll on in another account that will be in perfect synergistic harmony, and the perfect divine shine will appear. And I have no fear. And I do not wish that account that I didn't get any bad will. And I don't do that because that's a karma I'd have to clean up later. That's a karma I don't want to clean up later, and I choose not to. So I cut it off and I make peace with it. Because every time anything like this that seems like a downer has ever occurred in my life, something else comes along that I wouldn't have been able to do or participate with if I had gone with something else. And it's always better. Every single freaking time. I honor what Spirit is showing me. And I don't drop the ball. I just keep pivoting, moving around, and staying in my authentic self. Now, did I feel like, oh, wow, maybe I oversmiled at somebody. Maybe I stood too strong and tall. Maybe I should have shrunk a little bit. Maybe I should have been more sheepish. That would have been a human thing of like, why didn't they accept me? Because if I had done all that and they didn't accept me, I should have said, oh, maybe I should have stand taller. Maybe I should have spoken more. Maybe I should have been less assertive. See, you can't play that game with yourself. That's going through the mental wood chipper, my friend. Don't do that. It's only going to keep you and drop you off into a lower chord and a lower chord and a lower chord. Because it's going to find residency through hurts from your childhood all the way up and beyond that. It's why I do the work that I do for other people. That's why I do the work I do on myself. So I can keep things circulating. Toxicity comes in, I'm able to circulate and pass it on. Circulate and pass it on. Information comes in, I'm able to circulate it, pass it on, circulate it, pass it on, not let it stick on my physical, my emotional, my mental, my etheric, my spiritual. And sometimes these wounds are very, very deep. And every time they come up, you're just chiseling a little portion of them. So you've got to call on Spirit through your breath, connect with this physical avatar, and say, I am the commander of this vehicle. Thank you for this lesson. If you need to show me more, please do. In the meantime, I'm going to breathe it through. And if I shed some tears, I do. But I'm not going to allow my physical compartments to get all stuck and globbed up on it. I'm going to keep on circulating. I'm going to keep on pivoting. I'm going to keep on gracefully reaching. Because the more I do that, the more I embody my soul. And we become one. And we walk as one. And that, my friends, is the epitome of awakening. Is knowing that that these things are all together. And your life force is so much stronger as the divine intended it. And this is the lifetime where we get to join all of that. All the fractals of yourself are coming home. They're coming home. And you may have to work through the humps, the bumps, the lumps, the stones, the rocks, the sand, the hard water, the soft water, whatever that frequency is. Just know that every time you do, a little less for the next time, and a little less for the next time. Don't allow anything to create harm here. So own yourself. Get that gateway of the heart and the mind fully in sync. If I can help you on this journey, you know where to find me. In the meantime, own your loving light self. Own it. Own it. And while you're at it, take a finger, like, subscribe, leave me a message, etc. See you all on the next video.